So recently, one of my students asked me what my favorite flower was. And at the risk of sounding stupid, I told them that it was a dandelion. To which they were quick to inform me that a dandelion is in fact not a flower, it's a weed. Which I thought was a good answer, an educated answer. But what I found funny about it, and what I decided to tell them, was that I was willing to believe that they thought that dandelion was a flower before someone else came along and told them that it wasn't. Score one for Teach. But of course, this isn't a new debate. Do we consider dandelions flowers or weeds? What we do know is that they originated in both Eurasia and North America and now seem to exist pretty much anywhere that an angry lawnmower does. They're notorious for being difficult to get rid of, and they seem to live for little more than to just perpetuate their own species as often as possible. Now, the poet in me can't help but see the humanity in that. I like to imagine thousands of bright-cheeked children blowing dandelion seeds on the perfectly manicured lawns, leaving behind a riot of yellow, prickly reminders of how unimportant all of our definitions actually are. Of course, I also understand that a poet standing around talking about flowers is about as cliche as saying that God is a Broncos fan because sunsets are orange. But that's a funny word to define as well, right? Cliche. Because one man's cliche could be another man's epiphany, the same way that one man's flower could be another man's weed. And both, just like poets, have been popping up all over the place since the beginning of history.
Before the written word, there was the spoken. In fact, Socrates once argued that writing is inhuman, that it attempts to turn living ideas dwelling in the human mind into mere objects in the physical world. Now, poetry has often been mistaken as some kind of synonym for the esoteric, but I argue that it's often saying the simplest thing that is the most complex and risky. I love you. No. I'm sorry. When we say those things, they become experiments. We relinquish control over what happens thereafter. There is bravery in the simple act of speaking. In ancient Mexico, the Mexica, or Aztec people, had a rich poetic tradition. They called it in Xochitlincuicat, which translates to English as in flower and song. Once again, we see this theme of flowers, this time over 500 years old, proving that, and I hate to sound cliche, but there really is nothing new under the sun. Poetry is the art of trying to say something with words that cannot be said in words. It is language's clumsy attempt at making music. And this sound we create exists whether confined by shape or without structure, and it grows and pops up everywhere.
During my piano lessons as a child, my teacher became acutely aware of my fingers' clumsy attempts to try to rewrite the poetry that the composer intended. Spoken word poetry will always be a jazz cannonball stuffed into a classical canon. Every live performance is an experiment. Like blowing seeds onto a bar of sheet music in the place where the music note should be, we literally do not know upon which line they will choose to grow, and therein lies the risk. For example, some of the most exquisite classical and contemporary works have been written in the key of B-flat major. Beethoven's Fourth Symphony or the theme to Avatar have all been written in some B-flat variant. But take a half a step up from the key of A, and these exact same notes could be known as A-sharp major. Does the fact that no one refers to these notes as A-sharp major take anything away from the impact of its artistry? What matters more than what it does to you subjectively and the magic that puts you in rapport with the creator's original intent? I mean, think about it. If it weren't for sincere, spontaneous artistic expression, the only other way to hear the contents of the human heart would be through the barrier of a rib cage. Sincerity in a world full of pretension and barriers is exactly why poetry in all of its manifestations persistently flowers as the weed of all art forms. As beautiful as it is savage in its necessity, both risky and calculated, all at once.
The following is a dedication to those brave enough to speak regardless of the risk. The following is an experiment in noise.
In A sharp major.
This is not a heart, it's a volume knob. You turn it this way when you wish to scream. You turn it this way when you wish to whisper. It is a gift and carries much weight with it. Your chest can feel as heavy as an ocean. There is more than enough silence beneath the surface for you to drown in. Be careful. It is a weapon and can hurt people. Their ears will not be ready for your anthem. So speak with purpose. Sound without shape is static, and you were not born a dead channel. You were born screaming.
Does music belong to its instrument or the ears that hear it?
If one receives a gift, it belongs to them and not the gift giver.
So when you tell someone your name,
Does it still belong to you?
Branches,
Violin strings,
the wind,
a bow,
music notes,
hummingbirds,
eardrums,
flowers,
epithets,
shotguns,
humans,
targets.
This is not a heart, it's a volume knob. That makes your veins wires. If your veins are wires,
then your limbs are speakers.
if your limbs are speakers,
Then movement is a song.
running,
Song,
dancing,
song,
kissing,
song,
fighting.
song.
So choir, many,
Many,
many choirs,
holy,
holy,
holy.
little fist, leave the world dancing in your headphone dust.
Drenched in speaker sweat.
covered in eardrum graffiti
And invite them all into your sonic temple.
alone.
You
Are
Just
one
word.
together
we make a sentence. Together we have purpose. This is not a heart. It's a volume knob. With this you can sing many, many songs.
joy,
Acceptance,
humility,
forgiveness,
fear,
hate,
love,
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 Love, love. Remember that last refrain when the waves come.
They will come.
They will try and mute you.
They will try and drown you with their talking. They will try and sharpen your shoulder
They will
blades.
try and convince you to cleave off your wings by shrugging from the weight of
that
them.
the burden is too much to
That
carry.
you deserve silence.
They will try and deafen
They
you.
will try and deafen you by firing their guns. By firing their guns. Put your guns away, our weapons in our chests.
Your body is an arsenal.
Your gut a foxhole.
Your lungs are magazines meant to carry the ammunition of your breath. Your throat is a barrel and your tongue a trigger. Click against the war drum of your jaw and echo the sound, no! No!
You will not touch me.
No, you will not call me that word.
No!
I will not move.
Because a bullet cannot hurt an ocean, and waves are just static atop its depth, and you are louder than this bloody experiment in noise. A transmission sent straight through bullhorn of
By
tongue.
the soapbox that got lodged in your throat.
On the day they told you to swallow your pride.
And you are louder than this. You are raucous. You are opus.
So shatter the silence and proclaim yourself.
Turn up your volume knob so loud they never forget.
And hand the world your name like it was a gift.
Your spine
Straighter than a ship's mast.
Chin
Held higher than full sails. Static crashing like waves breaking against your bow. The bullets